The XC60 is a very important car for Volvo because it's their biggest selling car. Almost 30% of Volvo's sales, from what I read, comes from this platform. Now, this is the new one which came out at Geneva. We're driving it today in Spain, and I know that this car will go on sale in India before this year is out. And starting with the Thor's Hammer LED DRLs, you can immediately tell that you're driving a Volvo. The logo sits proud on the white chrome grille, and the headlights now extend inward, allowing the Hammer's handle, as it were, to touch the chrome grille. The luxury mid-size SUV looks great. The lines aren't aggressive as much as slick, and there's a sense of subtlety and class to the styling that I really do like. For instance, there is a lot of chrome trim on the exterior, but it's been used with great care, and it underlines the styling without ever feeling loud or out of place. And the interior, it follows the same tenets as well.
When you're driving a Scandinavian car, there's no mistaking it for anyone else, and I'm really happy about it, especially in this new XC60, because this light wood that they use, they call it driftwood. It's a ash colored wood with metal trim. The metal trim, the wood, the way it looks together, there is this sense of restraint and class that makes you look at it and makes you feel happy. And the Germans just don't do it this way, and it's really nice. I really like it.
I was shocked at how quiet the car is. The typical clatter of a diesel is audible clearly on the outside, especially in these quiet surroundings. But inside the XC60 is a hushed silence that you associate with much more expensive cars. It underlines the refinement of the package, and it's the first thing you will notice. That said, despite the power pulse system to eliminate turbo lag, the linear power never feels like it's too much, or too little for that matter. There's enough grunt to overtake easily and cruise at highway speeds, but this Volvo isn't ever going to feel like an out-and-out performer. In fact, I drove the T6 petrol that makes over 300 PS, and it sounds better and revs faster, but again, the performance is calm and measured more than electric. But I suspect that this nature of performance is by design. Let's look a little closer, shall we?
Volvo scalable platform architecture basically fixes the distance from the front axle to the dashboard and allows all the other parts of the frame to be scaled up or down, and it gives them a lot of advantages. But of late, what I'm really liking about the Volvos is that they found a sweet spot between the sporty end and the plush end of the spectrum, and they do it really well. Now, when I heard this the first time with the S90, I was worried because I know how sporty cars feel, I know how plush cars feel. Creating something in the middle is a dicey proposition, but they absolutely nailed it, and the S90 is a very nice car to drive. In the exact same way, the XC90 is nice to drive too. Is it outrageously sporty? No, it's not. Is it extremely plush? No, it's not, but it treads the line between these two extremes so well, and it feels so nice to drive because of it.
So what's under that hood? Well, the XC60 gets a number of engine options, but the one most important to us is in this car. That's the D5. It's the 235 PS version, which also goes to the XC90 now. It gets the power pulse system, which Volvo uses compressed air to run the turbos so you don't get turbo lag. That's the engine in this car. That's the one that's coming to India. Volvo is evaluating whether they want to bring the T6 petrol or the T8 plug-in hybrid, but that's going to happen later.
Volvo in India are adding a CKD plant to their Indian assets, and what we need to know is that the XC90 is currently the only thing that they're planning to put into CKD production. So the XC60, when it comes, as of now, will only get the D5. We will only get the top-of-the-line Inscription model with all-wheel drive. It will be an automatic, and it will be a CBU.
But the great news is that Volvo India now has permissions in place to equip and enable all radar-based systems in their cars. So all of the cool safety systems that the Swedish cars are famous for are on and active on the Indian XC60 at launch. This includes systems that detect pedestrians, help you when you're facing oncoming traffic in the middle of an overtake, and many more. The big daddy, of course, is pilot assist, which allows semi-autonomous driving as long as the lane markings are clear. Now, of course, one can scoff and say that most of these systems would not be able to cope with Indian chaos. It's what I thought until I drove the older XC60, tried the adaptive cruise control for the first time on an Indian highway and realized that it did actually work for the most part. And of course, secondly, the road test of the new Volvo XC60 in our conditions is going to be a lot of fun. I do really like Volvo's cars. I've enjoyed thoroughly the previous generation XC90. I like the S90 when I drove it more recently, and this is a really nice SUV as well. Now, it's coming to India as a CBU. Prices are expected to be between 55 and 60 lakh rupees, and it's absolutely loaded with equipment, especially because now Volvo's figured out how to do the radar thing, so all the radar-based safety systems are active as well. Now, look forward to the road test of this car on OVERDRIVE shortly, but fundamentally the XC60 is a great addition to the choices that the Indian SUV buyer has.